Well, hits just keep on coming. I put this on, try to put this together. It wobbles like heck because this does not want to go all the way down onto this shaft. It won't clamp here. By the looks of it, it looks like it never did. So I'm not sure. I'm going to put this washer on here, and I mean that'll solve the wobbling problem, but that might push this out too far and mess with the alignment. See how it is. I also put grease on this one just like I did the other one for the same reason. Oops, backwards. Small gear on the inside. So the two original washers that are clearly look like they belong on here. I decided there was one. I had one on here and I had one on here. I decided to take the one off of the lead screw and use it over here because this gear assembly and this gear assembly have the same thing in common, which is that they're designed to basically be like idler gears, freewheel on the shafts. So I want these nice thick machined washers on these. Whereas this one, this gear is fixed to the end of the shaft. And I did find a washer that fits it on there. It's not original, but it fits on there well in my jar over there, my parts jar. The few remaining parts that I hadn't put on this lathe, or I had taken off and had gotten around to putting back on. So that's why I think that that actually was how this was when I took it apart. I could consult my videos from way back if I really wanted to get picky, but this is good enough for now. So now let's see, I'll just keep this out here for a second just to see if, yeah, see now that's going to tighten up now like it should. No, wobble isn't too bad on that one, but I've got to bring this over to adjust for the mesh on that gear in the back there. Alright, now this gets swung up. And looking at, sighting down at here, I can see that this gear is no longer riding 100% on the spindle, the gear on this like spur gear on the end of the spindle. So I don't like the washer idea back there that I put in there. I think that is supposed to go all the way down against the bracket, just like this other one does, and I think that something is just wrong with this this bolt. I'll look at it under magnification, see if I can't see a burr. Alright, here goes nothing. I've got the speed, the 3-step pulley on the slowest speed. I'm not sure if it's in back gear, but yeah, unfortunately this gear is rubbing up against the back of this gear. If I put that washer back in there, that'll solve that problem. I just didn't like how that changed the alignment over here, which makes me think that maybe this gear's too far forward. Can't remember, did I put a washer behind this one? I know I did here, but maybe I pushed this one out too far. Yeah, that's what it is. I got a washer behind there. I gotta get that washer out. Oh, the problem with this not going on that stud far enough, there was a burr. Little quick work with a file took care of that. Why did I put that washer in there? Oh, I put that washer in there because this was rubbing here. So if I take this washer out, then I bet you I'm going to have a problem with this gear rubbing. Which is all going to point directly to a problem with my setup on the lead screw not being what it should be. Yep. This washer can't be here. Yeah, and the reason why I made that washer in the first place was to take care of the little bit of wobble that was in this gear on the lead screw, and I could see now that I'm going to have to live with that wobble. This wobble right here is what I was concerned with, but... Oh, dummy. This gear's going to go on behind this gear. You know what? I got to wash up and go pick up my kids. Alright, I'm back to working on this thing, and I got that. Took this gear off, got this gear on, put this gear back on. Now this gear's got a little bit of a wobble to it because, well, it is what it is. So now I'm going to set the clearance. I wasn't really doing that before, bothering with that, but the way I'm going to set the clearance on this is I'm just going to use a piece of paper. And I think I've seen Troubleshooting, Mr. Pete. I think I've seen him use this trick for setting clearance. If he would never do it this way, then I apologize. But I'm pretty sure I did see him say that this was an acceptable method. Now what the heck did I just do there? Oh, that wasn't in the slot. Oh, I did find my other original washer. Well, you get the wrong size wrench there, Steve. That's the problem. That'll do it. Alright, so now back that out. That's wobbly. And it's rubbing, but I think that'll stop once I get the other gear in there. Hope. Otherwise, this would have all been for naught. Yeah, the paper on the back side of this one's a little trickier. Well, I guess that wasn't that bad. Kind of a double whammy here, sitting on two gears at once. Okay, so now, if I back this up, should we get that out? And back this way, and get this one out. Voila. Let's see how it rubs now. Oh, I unplugged it for safety when I was working on it. Still rubbing. That was bad. Alright, so I already bolted my bracket on. I put the special thrust washer on the end there. I put the two nuts on, but I haven't tightened them up completely yet. So, I'm just going to try this out. So it's in neutral right now. I think I remember having a discussion with somebody through the one of the forums for the Atlas lathe in particular, and talking about how it's important not to shift this gearbox while the lathe is running, that you could potentially damage the little bevel gears inside there, which are a little pricey. So here's the shift lever right here. The middle detent is neutral, so I'm just going to rotate this by hand. Alright, so now that should be, and the lead screw's turning. So now, if I bring this half nut up, there we go. Down is engaged. It's feeding. That is slow. I'm not putting oil all over the gears yet. That's running dry. You know, I'm not going to do that for very long. This is just a test to make sure it's going to work. This makes me love the Hendy a lot more. Alright, let's try and turn something on this lathe. I know the center height should be pretty good on this cutter that I've got in here. That still seems a little fast. Start out easier. I think that's it. Yep. Alright, so we go a little faster than that now. Put this on the middle pulley. That should give us a good combination. Let's try that. Now, this is just a piece of stock I grabbed out of the box that's got a turning already on it. So this is not it's not concentric yet. was wondering what that noise was, and I just realized now was the cutter was digging in, and it just snapped the end off the cutter. Alright, that didn't work. I was just fishing through my box of cutters and stuff that I have, and I found this brazed cutter or cemented cutter. So that's a piece of carbide on the end there. It actually says something on it, CY-16 AR or something. But I could see that the way the relief is on it. But I can't keep it at this angle. It won't cut that way. This needs to be coming in straight. Probably not the best cutter for this lathe, but I'm going to try it. The other thing too is I wonder how close I can get to this being on center with the way this is put together. Well, that doesn't look too bad. Oh yeah, I forgot. I can't have that. I gotta turn this. Wow, why is that so loose in the chuck? Too low. Hey everybody, I was just editing the video for the test turnings that I was doing on this lathe after finally getting the change gears set up the way I wanted them. And I had done the initial turning with, I forgot what I had on there for a cutter, and I had just changed over to a cemented carbide, or a, not quite sure what kind of cutter that is. And I was going to do some test cuts and show the test cuts. And when I was doing the video editing, I realized that I'm missing a video clip. Somehow I inadvertently erased that video. And so it kind of just, that segment was going to just kind of stop without showing you what ended up happening. So I figured what I'll do is I'll show you what I have on here right now for a cut. And then I'll do another test cut showing this cutter cutting. And then I figured, why don't I just, as long as I'm at it, why don't I add on just doing something with some high-speed steel cutters in a more traditional type of tool holder. So these open-sided tool holders, which I think I had read in some of the earlier books that I had read, are typically what are considered to be like a European style. And the thing about this type of tool holder is, if you grind a high-speed steel cutter in the traditional manner that it's supposed to be ground, this type of a setup doesn't give you the proper clearance, so you tend to run into a problem. And I'll just give you an idea. This is the tool holder style that originally probably was meant to be used with this lathe. This particular holder actually has a kind of a funky cutter ground in there right now that's sticking out way far from there, so I don't know if somebody was reaching in and doing an operation that they needed it to stick out that far. But anyways, the main difference, as you can see, is that this has an angle built into it by design. Okay. Now, this type of cutter that I put in here is a type of cutter that's designed to be used more in a straight holder like this. So that's why I believe that when I ended up changing to this cutter, things did improve. The other problem I was having was the part had loosened up in the chuck when I was making the initial cuts. And what was happening was when that cutter would dig in, it was flexing this whole piece and loosening it up. And I couldn't even see that really until when I was editing the video and watching it. I was like, I couldn't believe how much that shaft was moving. That piece of stock was moving in the chuck, and how I didn't realize that that's what was going on. So you can imagine that was really messing things up. So I tightened it down, put this cutter in, and well, let me show you. There was a vast improvement by doing that. One of the other things I noticed in editing the video, with having the the camera stationary on the tripod and looking at the close-up cuts and watching them, I could see the whole lathe is bouncing pretty badly, and that is obviously not going to be conducive to a good finish when you're trying to make your cuts. And I honestly think that a lot of that is due to this wheel being messed up. So I'll show you that. Get a shot straight on. This will give you an idea just how to whack that thing is. So you can see how far that thing's wobbling out of whack. So I'm gonna have to do something to try and true up that wheel, because that's just doing a lot of bouncing. So actually, I think from this angle you can actually see the bouncing effect. Well, I know I said I was going to maybe put the lantern style tool post on and try a conventional high-speed cutter on this, but I actually decided I'm not going to do that. I'm already working on fixing this broken crossfeed handle setup that was on here. So that's what the videos that I'm shooting right now, I'm at work on that. So that's what's coming up. You'll see how I address this. More than likely, when I finish this, if I really like the results, I might want to rework this wheel, because even though it actually looks fine, the previous owner, basically what he did was he took the remnants of the broken wheel and made this aluminum piece and pressed it onto the remnants of the broken wheel that he had turned down, I guess. And I guess he had done all that to avoid having to cut a keyway. Either that, or I don't know if that's gonna... No, that's not tapered, so I don't think. But either the shaft is bent, or when he pushed this on, it didn't go on correctly, which... No, I don't think that's it. Or the hole he drilled is completely out of whack. That's possible too. Something's going on here, and I don't know what. But I really don't like how out of whack that is. I'll give you a shot of that from the side. So if I rotate this slowly, you can actually watch this go in and out. This whole shaft seems loose. That doesn't seem kosher. All right. Oh, so we might look into that. And then, of course, the drive wheel being out of balance. Once I do all that, maybe I'll take some of that scrap sheet metal that I have and fashion a cover for this. And then I think it'll be time to just gather up what I have for tooling for this lathe and put it out there on the market and see what it brings.